Welcome back everyone. Now, if you're regulars to the channel, you'll know that Helen and I have referenced before that we do enjoy very much watching lots of YouTube channels, a variety of YouTube channels in fact, but particularly anyone who's enjoying the great outdoors to the extent that we try to. And I know that people do that in different formats. So whether it's the caravanners of this world, the motorhomers, the camper vanners, the van lifers, I particularly enjoy watching a lot of the van lifers. I think we're all chasing pretty much the same thing, as in a bit of freedom, the great outdoors. And for some of us, it's something we'd like to do in our leisure time. And for others, it's a lifestyle change. I know a number of channels that we watch where people are actually living full time in a motorhome or even a converted van. In fact, some people live in their cars, you know, which always amazes me. But whatever floats your boat, whatever format you want to use. So something a little bit different. I've come to what I call the Far East. I'm here in Lowestoft today. It's actually quite a nice day. It's November, but it's 16 degrees outside and I'm on a park for nights spot. So if you a regular who watches the van lifers, you'll often hear them reference that they go to a park for night website or app to find somewhere where they can park up for free. They often don't like to frequent campsites. You know, often we do. In fact, we always do. We generally don't wild camp. But I've often been intrigued by what it must be like to either just park up at the side of the road, which I can't really do with a caravan, although there is a caravan just down a few hundred yards from where I'm actually sat at the moment. But I've been intrigued as to the lifestyle. And I've no way on this planet I'm sleeping in the car tonight. So don't think for 1 minute I'm here to do an overnight in the car. Now, I'm up for a challenge always. I'm always up for a bit of a challenge. And who knows, maybe one day in the future I might do, but it'd have to be a nice summer's evening somewhere very picturesque where we could both enjoy some time. But could we sleep in the car? I don't know if I want to go to that extent. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. As I'm on a park for nights area, I want to try and get a little bit of a feel for what it would be like for them. So what I am going to do is what most of them will have done this morning, is I'm going to get the kettle on in the car at the back, and I'm going to cook my breakfast here as well. So I'm a little bit off grid, and I've got a piece of kit that I want to show you that I've been sent from Aferiy. It's a Powerstation, so I'll be using that to do it. But don't press the pause button or leave at this moment in time, because I've got some really interesting stuff to bring to you from Lowestoft. So whether you're a camper vanner, motorhome, a caravanner or whatever, Lowestoft is a destination area for a lot of people that like to come on holiday and do some camping. Now, I'm not aware of many campsites right in the centre of Lowestoft, but I am aware of a number of campsites in the area. So I'll do some reference to those now. And I'll just show you on the map exactly where I'm parked up. So I am parked up, I said Far East. This is the most easterly point in the UK. Just over the wall behind me, which we'll go to in a second, is as far east as you can get in the United Kingdom. It's an area which sees the sunrise before any other part of the UK every day. Apart from this morning, because it was too cloudy, I couldn't see a sunrise, although the sun is out now, so that's just typical, isn't it? So we'll cook some breakfast, we'll have a cup of tea, and then we're going to go wandering. I'll show you this place called Ness Point, which is the most easterly point. And then I want to take you to some interesting places. We're going to go walking. I need the exercise. There are some really interesting facts about Lowestoft, which I didn't know until I did a little bit of research. Famous people that either worked here, lived here, born here. Also some history as well. Not going to give you a history lesson as in like bore the pants off you, but some really quite interesting facts. And we're going to go down the promenade. There's two great piers down here. There's a lovely centre, nice theatre in the centre as well, so I'll show you that. Like every town in the UK, particularly the seaside towns, it's got its good and it's got its not so good, shall we say. But I think there's plenty of plus points and plenty of good reasons why you'd want to come here. So without further ado, let's get out and get the kettle on. Well, I did say it's a van life area. There's a caravan and two camper vans down there, well, van lifers that look like van lifers. And there's a transit van here, whether they've been overnight or not, I don't know. And then just over there towards the windmill is a motorhome on the other side where that guy stood with his orange overalls on. There's a motorhome on the other side of there. But I just want to show you here. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most easterly point in the United Kingdom. That last bit of earth there is the the final bit of earth, if you're heading east, that you can stand on in the UK. So Lowestoft is down there, and the harbour, we'll show you that. Famous landmark. That's, if you find that, you're at the most easterly point. And we're in an industrial area here, but some interesting stuff. And I just want to go over here and show you this. I don't quite know what this is, but it does look pretty good. Look at this. A Lowestoft man, this is called. And it's actually got a map on it. If we get close up, you can see there's a map on here. It's called a Lowestoft man. Now, is it a Banksy? I don't think it's a Banksy. There's a signature here that dated 21 by somebody, a name I can't read. Is it G Almond? I'm not sure. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So look over there, look, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vans over there, one just here, and then there's 2 vans and a caravan just there. Right, here am I, and I'm about to make breakfast here. Somewhere to sit and have it if I want to. Well, here's my kit. I brought the air fryer. I've bought a kettle, the one I normally keep in the caravan. It's a high wattage kettle. Got some bacon and sausages in this box and some milk. I've got my Caravan-tastic Helen and Dave mug in here and some sugar. And this baby, I'm hoping this is the Aferiy Powerstation, and it's what's it called? I can't remember. Let's have a quick look. I could have cleaned the boot out. Helen will tell me off. Here it is, look, the Aferiy P210. This is the power source that we're using to do breakfast today. Yes, I'm pretty organised for me here. This is unbelievable. So, bottle of water. Let's get some water in the kettle. That should do. So this is a really, this is a first for me. We've been off grid in the caravan before, but we didn't have any backup support in terms of a power station or anything like that. It was in the height of the summer, and we just made it through really 2 nights with our solar panel and the a fully charged leisure battery, and of course fridges on gas and stuff like that. We didn't use any heating, but we literally got through with the skin of our teeth because the battery levels were getting pretty low. So I think if I was going to do any off-gridding again, I'd want to use a power bank, something like this. So this is a beast of a power bank. I'll tell you a bit more about it. Well, so I'm going to go over to the caravan and show you some stats on that. So as I'm making the breakfast, we'll flick over to the caravan in a little while and I'll give you some more detail. But for now, it's got 3 plugs in the side here, just down there, look. So I've just plugged that in. I need to power up, so I push and hold the power button, and there we go. I charged this before I came. It was on about 25% charge before I left it, when I first got it, and I think it took about 2 hours or something to get it up to 100%. So there's no power going into it at the moment. This is a powerful kettle. How powerful? Well, I think we'll find out in a minute. Let's put the kettle on, plugged in, and the kettle's now gone on. What I have to do, I've just remembered, is there's a button on the side here which I just have to push to bring that to life. We've got a piece lit up here. Show you all this in the caravan. Kettle's going on right now. So here we go. So that's cool. Look at that, 2,400 watts of power being used just to put the kettle on. And if I kept this on, I'd probably get about 40 minutes at that rate out of that. So we can't do that. We've got some air frying to do yet. The great thing is though, it's actually working. I can hear the kettle. Bit of milk in the cup. Tell you what would have been handy, Dave, tea bag. Okay, cup of tea would have gone down better if I got tea bags with me. So I've had to have bought the tea. What a great start. What a van lifer I'd be. So I'm going to be wanting the breakfast. So I'm going to grab a tea bag in a little while. air fryer at the ready. A little toaster rack. Got a couple of sausages in here, so I want to get those in, and a few rashers of bacon. In fact, 4 rashers of bacon, but they're pretty thin, so I'm just going to drop them in. Well, it's very windy here, and it says it's 16 degrees, but I can assure you it's bloody cold. And let's start her up. So that's now powered up. We went down to 97% on there a little while back. There he goes. There goes my mate who I just met, really nice bloke. So we're using 1451 watts of power with the air fryer on the go. So it's cooking away nicely. We're down at 96%. If we carried on using this amount of power non-stop, we'd get about an hour and 6 minutes out of this beast. So, while that's cooking, let me go and get my rolls and butter them. Look at that for a roll. Big crusty roll. I brought some butter, didn't remember that bit. I can actually smell the bacon cooking, it's fantastic. Get some butter on my bread. Well, it's not supposed to rain, but the rain clouds are definitely gathering. How's my bacon doing? Oh, look at that! Look at that, that's got to go in the roll now. Sausages are doing good now as well. Right, come on Davey boy, let's get a bacon roll on the go, a bit quick. God, it smells like a greasy spoon now in here. Look at that. Give the sausages a bit longer. We're on to 87%, but we're using 1400 watts of power and have been for a little while now. Still got over an hour's worth of power here. Proof if proof were needed. I can cook breakfast in the car, and I could make a cup of tea if I had a tea bag. I've got the rolls from my local bakery. They're a crispy roll, they're quite big. They're really nice, really good. So 10 out of 10 for the bacon roll. Right, so I'm over in Lowestoft making a cup of tea thanks to this. But we've just moved back to the caravan, so I can just tell you a little bit more about it. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Aferiy P210. What a cracking piece of kit this is. If you're thinking of going off grid in your caravan or in your camper van, then to have this with you will give you so much reassurance. It's unbelievable. But you don't need to be a caravaner or a camper to have one of these, because, you know, in the event of a power cut, this would be a really useful item to have at home. Or indeed, if you're a fisherman and you're going overnight fishing and you want to be able to sort of maybe cook using electricity, or make tea, or have more lights, you know, this is just the thing that you need. Or even charge your devices up while you're out in the sticks. You know, this will work. It's portable, as in it's got 2 handles, but it's really heavy. A little bit about it, and I'm reading from the back of the unit itself. So it's got a battery capacity of 2048 watt hours. It's got an AC charge at 1100 watts max, and you can also charge DC at 11.5 watts. I'll go and show you a bit more about these in a little while. It's got USB-A, USB-C with a maximum of 100 watt output on your USB-C. It's got an XT60 output of 12 volts, a DC 12 volt output, and a carport output of 12 volts as well. It's also got an LED light on it, which I'll show you in a second. But the main thing about it is it's a beast. So what does it do? Well, let's have a quick look up the front here, and I'll bring you in closer. Come and have a little look. So the unit is turned off at the moment, so to power it on, I'm just going to push and hold the power button, and now you see we are 100% charged. I literally charged this up last night. When it arrived out of the box, by the way, this was at about 25%. I plugged it in the garage, went back a couple of hours later, and it was completely full. So it took no time at all to charge. So just quick navigation around the front panel here, which is where the main controls are. So you've got a traditional, if you like, car port, the 12-volt cigarette lighter, which is 12-volt 10 amp. You've then got a couple of other power sources here, look, 12-volt 3 amp, and then a 12-volt 25 amp. That's the sort of socket that I've seen on solar panels and stuff like that, but I don't think that's where you'd be charging your solar panel up. Come back to that. Across the bottom here, look, you've got your USB-A's, and then you've got 4 USB-C sockets as well. And if you want to turn any of these separate areas on to make them functional, you just literally push the button once, quick flick, and you'll notice that there's the screen's lit up here now. We've just got a little icon that's come up here to say that the USBs are now live. Push the USB again, one quick push, they're now off, so that's disconnected. Likewise, if you're going to come over to the DC area here, one quick flick on there, and you'll see that we've now got illuminated these icons, which indicate the cigarette lighter socket, which is that one here, the 12-volt 3 amp sockets, which is those two just there, and then this socket here, which is the 12-volt 25 amp plug that I showed you. So it will take a multitude of different devices depending upon the leads that you use. One little flick of that, and then that's all powered off as well now. And then over here we've got the light. So this is really going to be useful, particularly if you find yourself in a camping situation at night and you need some light, and then that's there. Push it once and it's on, push it again and you've got the sort of fairly familiar these days, but the SOS light there, so should you need it, and that will shine really bright and be seen from quite a distance at night, I can assure you. If you press it again, you get the continuous strobe effect of the flashing light, and press it one more time and you've turned it off. Obviously one long press on the power button and everything's off there. So they're the main devices. Now you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, where do I plug in my 13 amp plugs? Well, don't worry, that's covered as well. On the side here, and this is quite heavy, this, I'll give you the weights in a second, but along the side here, look, you've then got 3 13 amp sockets there, and again you would just push the button on the side once, and if we go back round here you can see that's illuminated the icon on the side. Push it again and that's gone off. So if you want to plug something in, now given the power rating on this beast, no problem plugging in a kettle, a refrigerator. In fact, every device in this caravan would run very easily from this, and for quite some period of time. Also got a couple of cooling fans on the side here, 2 big carry handles, one each side, and then in here it's a little area where you can pop bits and pieces in, maybe some leads, your phone if you were charging your phone, or you just wanted to put it out the way somewhere. So it's just a little flap there to do that. If I take you around the other side, just spin this round, and over here is where you'd plug in to charge the unit up. So 2 main sort of charging ways really. One is the 240 volt AC input there with an 1100 watt max capacity, and then over here is where you would plug a solar panel in. Now it doesn't come with solar panels, but those solar panels are available as an extra, and any solar panel I'm sure would work, but you can obviously pick up the Aferiy solar panels separately should you want to do that. And as it says on here, look, maximum load of 500 watts, and then you've got an overload protection button on here and 2 more fans again, so this unit will keep nice and cool, no problem at all, and that will all kick in automatically. So I've mentioned the weight a couple of times. It weighs in at 22 kilos, so it is heavy, but of course it's heavy. It's got a big job to do because it's so powerful at 2,400 watts. But with these 2 big grab handles here, it's easily transportable. It's definitely portable, there's no doubt about it. I can move this thing around, but it is heavy. You'd expect it to be. It's a beast of a unit. So it's got a 2-year warranty, 24 months, which, by the way, when you buy one of these, you have the option to extend that by a further 5 years. So confident are Aferiy in the product itself that they're prepared to give it up to 7 years of warranty, which I think is fantastic. Also, it comes with a cover, which I've yet to take out of the packet. So your power bank is now protected from the dust and the elements while it's in storage, which I think is superb. So that's good. Also in the box comes this little zip up pouch here, and that's got all the leads in here that you need for charging. So you've got your mains 240 volt lead there for charging. You also then have a lead for your solar panel. So the yellow socket goes into the side of the unit, and then this will plug into the leads on the back of your solar panel. So really handy to have those as well. And as I say, it folds away nicely, which is great. Right, let's go back to Lowestoft and find out if the kettle's boiled. Well, I've devoured the bacon roll. It was, I kid you not, it was absolutely gorgeous. I think these sausages are about done, so I'm just going to have a quick shake. That look done to you? Yeah, that looks done, doesn't it? Let's have a slice down the middle and just double check. But I think this is, it certainly looks, oh yeah. And these are from Jim's Butchers in our local town of Great Yarmouth, so I know they're good. I know they're good. Yeah, they're cooked. They're cooked lovely. Right, get that in there. I've got a dirty air fryer now to wash when I get in, but I've boiled the kettle without making a cup of tea, and I have cooked my breakfast, sausages and bacon rolls, and thanks to the Aferiy Powerstation here, I've used, well, I'm on 83%, so I've used 17% of the total charge on two really high power items, really very powerful kettle and the air fryer. When I've had breakfast, and I would have had a cup of tea if I'd brought my tea bag, so I'm going to try and rectify that and still have a cup of tea in a minute. But first of all, let's finish off with a sausage roll. Humble beginnings, but car life, a good start with breakfast. So I'm going to head now in towards some more interesting parts of Lowestoft that I want to show you. One of the most interesting facts about Lowestoft is the fish finger was invented here in Lowestoft, folks. This is where the fish finger started its life. And all those grey buildings that you can see in the background are all part of the Bird's Eye factory. So amongst other things, Lowestoft is famous for the fish finger. It gets much more interesting than that, believe me. Let's move on. I'm going to take the car from here though and move to a different park up near the cafe where I can get a cup of tea. This is a real industrial part of Lowestoft, obviously. But yeah, this is all the Bird's Eye factory down here. On the left hand side, Richardson's. Now Richardson's, that's at their 10-pin bowling alley there. They also own holiday parks and boat hire on the Norfolk Broads. There it is, the birthplace of the fish finger, folks. So I've just come up north of where I was parked. I was parked sort of just down there. There's the big wind turbine in the background. Well, I need to have a cup of tea, having had a bacon roll and a sausage roll. And I believe in here there's a little cafe called the Giardino. And I'm wondering whether I might be able to get something up here. In the summertime, this area gets quite busy because a lot of the holidaymakers head this way. Well, that's a restaurant and bar, so we're not going to be going in there, but the cafe looks like it's the one ahead. We're in the area of the lighthouse. I want to try and show you the lighthouse if I can find it, because you can't see it from here, can you? So it's quite a nice bit just here actually. Managed to get a takeaway tea, which is superb. Actually really nice and extremely busy. I really wasn't expecting that to be as busy as it is. But just goes to show you, doesn't it? And over here, they've got an outdoor area where it's got infrared heaters on it, which is strange. But we are here in the first week in November, and there's the Lowestoft War Memorial Museum. I don't think that's going to be open just now. There's more than one museum. There's a maritime museum down there, all free entry, but I'm not sure if it's actually open today or not. So what I wanted to try and do was guide you towards the lighthouse, which I've got a feeling is at this end of these gardens. So we'll go for a little wander. I think I can see it. Now it's nestled behind the trees over here. We're only 12 miles from home, but an area we don't come to very often. So here we are in Lowestoft. Now we're at the north end of the town at the moment, and up these steps I'm hoping we'll be able to get a view of Lowestoft's lighthouse. Now the first ever lighthouse in the United Kingdom was built here in Lowestoft, but it wasn't actually on this spot. It was I believe closer to Pakefield, which is at the south end of the town. Now you might know different. If you're a Lowestoft person, you might know exactly where that first lighthouse was, but there was two, and I think they were built in the 1600s. If I can find the date, I'll pop it on the screen for you now. There's a squirrel there, look. Hello squirrel. Hello little squirrel. Look at him, look. Fairly tame because he's not bothered about making it. See him? Hello. Hello. You come to say hello? Have you come to say hello? Yes, look. Yeah, pretty tame he was. Right, here it is. Now, behind the trees, obviously, in the distance is the sea, and this is the Trinity Lighthouse. So, let's see if we can get a bit closer. Right, we'll make our way back down here. Fantastic. Right, onwards and upwards. We'll move back through this sort of parkland, through these gardens. Going to head back to the car. Going to move the car over the bridge, and we'll go on to Lowestoft Promenade. So we've been at the most easterly point in the UK. We've had a look at the lighthouse here at Lowestoft. I've managed to get myself a takeaway cup of tea, which is brilliant. But what I want to take you to now is more the resort side of Lowestoft, and show you the harbour, and give you a bit of background into what the industry was and what it's now become in Lowestoft. A lot of that revolved around fishing and offshore, which is still kind of important, but the less emphasis on the fishing. We seem to have lost our fishing industry in this country, don't we, which is a real shame. There used to be hundreds of trawlers, mainly fishing for herring here on the east coast, Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft, and I believe there's only one herring trawler left in Lowestoft Harbour, and that's one of the reasons why Birdseye is here, of course, because of the fishing industry. But they remain here at the moment. They used to be in Great Yarmouth as well, Birdseye, but closed down many years ago. It's quite a nice parkland area, isn't it? And you can just make out the lighthouse from here, look. And ahead is the Maritime Museum, which I believe entry is free to, but it's closed at the moment. Well, I've moved into the tourist area of town, This is the promenade. Marine Parade runs all the way along here. And here we are now onto the seafront. Now I'm actually between two piers, so I'm going to walk down that way in a moment, but I'll just walk a little further up here first and show you this area. I think this is possibly the nicest part of Lowestoft, if I'm being completely honest. And Helen and I used to come here when our kids were little on one particular day of the year, and that used to be the Lowestoft Air Show. As you know, if you're regulars, we love our aircraft, and they used to do a fantastic free air show here in Lowestoft, and donation only. We used to get a park and ride from Pleasurewood Hills, which is down at sort of Courtland end of Lowestoft, and we used to catch the park and ride bus, which would drop you off literally just over here, a bit further down there. And there'd be guys and girls with buckets for donations to keep the air show alive, and we always used to chuck like a tenner in there or something. But the amount of people that used to get off that coach or off the bus and come down here for the air show and never put a single penny in the bucket, it just always amazed me. But the air show was pretty infamous. It was a fantastic time. One year, notably, a Hawker Siddeley Harrier jump jet was doing a display here off Lowestoft. If I can find some footage and sneak it on for you now, I will do. And it was doing its display and demonstrating how its capability is to hover and do a vertical takeoff, and it was hovering over the sea, and for really no apparent reason whatsoever just fell out of the sky and plummeted into the North Sea over there. Look at these lovely old Victorian places over here. And this is Claremont Pier just here. That rhymed. Claremont Pier is just here. Obviously closed season now, so nothing really open, but quite a busy place in the height of the summer. Nice to see the Lest We Forget poppy flags flying. Love to see that. And in this sort of area over here, there's a guest house, and it's run by the Lord Kitcheners. And I have DJ'd regularly at their annual charity ball, and that was always a fantastic event. All the old Chelsea pensioners used to turn up, lots of military people and people from the Army, the RAF, the Navy, but also from the police, ambulance services, and the Lord Mayor and the local MP and all that sort of stuff. And the Lord Kitchener's ball was always brilliant. And they've got a guest house over here, which is a holiday destination for ex-military personnel. And if I can find it, I will just show it in a sec. But look at this beach. What an amazing beach. All the beach huts along the bottom there, look. Brick beach huts at that. I don't know if you can pick them up. These two sort of towers out to sea there. Would you believe it? They've been erected for seagulls, or protected gulls anyway, to nest on. I can't quite get my head around that, if I'm being completely honest, but someone spent a lot of money thinking about seagulls who normally come along and eat my fish and chips. Great cafe here, look, that's called the Thatch Restaurant and Coffee House. Helen and I have had a lunch or two in there over the years, and it's always been really nice. I'm not going to go all the way along because this goes for miles, and when you get to the north end of Lowestoft you actually arrive at an area called Pakefield, which is where my son Chris and Tom, who's featured in the videos, but also Cameron, Abigail, Isla and his wife Angela, they live in a big old house in Pakefield. And the reason I want to mention it to you is that the first human inhabitants in Northern Europe, according to historians and those people in the know, the first people to dwell anywhere in Northern Europe apparently dwelled at Pakefield, which is probably about a mile from where I'm stood. And the reason they know that is that erosion is taking away a lot of the cliff tops, well, the cliffs in general actually, and as it's eroded and taken away, they found flints and artifacts that they claim to date back 700,000 years. That is older than anything else apparently that's ever been found in Northern Europe, to imply that that's humans were dwelling in Pakefield 700,000 years ago. Crikey, I'm out of breath. But all these hotels here, look, they've got the best view in Lowestoft over what has to be an amazing beach. Got a beach volleyball set up down here. You can imagine in the summertime pretty busy. So the wind turbine, what we were parked up at earlier, is over there, and the harbour entrance is down that end. So we're going to wander down there now, catch you at the harbour. So, Lowestoft, not just a seaside tourist town, it really built its wealth around the fishing industry, like I mentioned, with herring being the big attraction for all the fishermen. Massive fishing fleets used to come out of Lowestoft, not anymore. However, sort of industry continues, things move on, and it's now become a centre for green energy, offshore wind farms. And Ness Point, which is where we were parked up having breakfast, that big wind turbine there is the home base for where this green energy, this offshore energy farms operate from. Just coming to South Pier now. A load of fishermen just turning up here, or at least one of them. There's East Point Pavilion, which is also a cafe in there as well. In the summertime you can't move here, absolutely rammed full of people. I'll take you down South Pier in a second. Just want to show you over here though, because this is Lowestoft Harbour, or at least one view of it. If the rain stays away, which I'm hoping it will, then we'll head over the Bascule Bridge and I'll show you the harbour and also some of the shopping centre as well. Just get over here out this guy's way. So for any sailors watching, I don't know if there is, but this is anyone sort of sailing around Great Britain. Lowestoft is a famous port of call. And that is the Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club, which is based here. And a number of these vessels here, privately owned obviously, and resident, most of them. Goodness knows what the mooring fee is. But for anyone visiting via boat, then this is where you'll come into the harbour. Pay your mooring fee for the night or nights and have access there to the yacht club, the Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club, where no doubt you can get shower and toilet facilities. And I have DJ'd in that club before, but a long time ago, and it was a nightmare to get in, I seem to recall. Well, there's a bit of a beach here, which I'm not sure how accessible that is at high tide. And I didn't realise also a bit of a car park area here as well. So this is really an area that I've not been to before. But let's have a little nose. I like to look at boats. Don't think I'm allowed in this bit, so I'll just stay here and give you a glance across part of the harbour. Obviously this is where the small vessels go. bigger ships are over here. Again, I don't know if I'm allowed in here or not. It doesn't say I can't. Gates are open. There's some benches down here. Let's go and have a little look. So that's the entrance to the main harbour itself. Very deep water there. And as you can see, we've got what, 1, 2, 3. I think they're probably offshore oil rig supply vessels, either supplying oil rigs or heading out to the wind farms that I was referencing earlier on. Also based here are a number of these Seacat offshore energy support vessels, and these are always patrolling up and down the coast here of Norfolk and Suffolk, because there's wind farms all the way up beyond sort of Hunstanton towards Skegness, and to the best of my knowledge, these Seacat vessels over here service those offshore farms. Now if you enter the harbour through here, you can carry on down the river. If your boat's big, then you'll need the harbour master to arrange for the bridge to be lifted. And you can see there's a couple of really big ships on the other side of that bridge. That's Bascule Bridge over there. So they've obviously had the bridge lifted, they've gone through. Beyond that is a further new road bridge. You can just see maybe in the background the towers sticking up. See if I can get you over there if time allows. And then beyond that there's further sort of marinas and berths as you enter the Norfolk Broads onto Alton Broad. So visitors are welcome. The Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club Marina are available to call on the VHF 80, or is that 30? That's 80, yeah. There's a telephone number there and some details for moorings. Look at that. And they've got, I often look at the cameras over here, you know, they've got these cameras that are on 24/7, and you'll see the boats going up and down as the tides come in and out. Obviously all the pontoons rise up and down on those big posts there, which is amazing to watch. And the fishing trawler that's left, I believe, moors over that side of the harbour somewhere. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. But yeah, once you couldn't move for fishing trawlers in this. I remember living here in the 70s as a kid, coming down with my mum and dad in the car, and it was just full of trawlers all berthed over there, and they're all sort of you know, tied up to each other, really, moored up alongside each other. Deep water, no swimming and no jumping. Fear not. Let's walk along to the end, shall we? So this is Lowestoft Lifeboat Station. I must say I often wondered where it was because I've never seen it before. And that's their RNLI shop just in there, which I'm not going to go into just now. Well, a lot of people fishing down here on the pier. Seems to be a popular pastime. I haven't seen anybody with a fish on a hook yet. But these gates look about as far as we can go down here, and again a first for me, not been down here before. This guy's packing up, he's had enough. So if you were bringing your boat out through there, look, got a few waves to negotiate on the way out of the harbour. And I have to say, when you look at that and look at the size of those big ships over there, they ain't got a big space to come through, have they? There's a dead fish floating in the water down there. Did someone catch it and try to throw it back, but it was too late? Or was it used as a bit of bait? I don't know. Right, more walking to do because the town centre is over there where all the shops are. We'll try that out now. A lot of people putting their rods away. I reckon they've had enough. Ah, this mine's got 2 fish, look. What sort of fish are they, do you know?
White.
They're white, are they?
White.
Too small? Yeah, no good. Nah. So he caught a couple of whiting. Never eaten a whiting before. The seagulls are always there, look, on the scavenge, just in case someone's caught a fish they don't want. Right, we'll head into town. Let's go. Before we do go into town, just wanted to tell you what else is Lowestoft famous for? Well, this is the birthplace of Sir Benjamin Britten, the composer who wrote a number of operas, I believe, and I believe went to live. Did he go and live in Aldborough? I think the Red House at Aldborough, believed belonged to him. Might be wrong, but I think it did. So Sir Benjamin Britten was born in Lowestoft. Actor Michael Caine, this will surprise you. Actor Michael Caine used to live in Lowestoft. Obviously he's a Londoner, right? But he came to live in Lowestoft. I think he lived in Lowestoft only for about a year or so, in his early 20s, when he was an actor making his way, and he used to play in one of the local theatres, which is now a cinema, I believe, on London Street. Hollywood Cinema, last time I looked. I don't know what it's called these days, but yeah, my son Chris was telling me that he was in his early 20s, and when that was a theatre, he used to come and sort of tread the boards, as it were, in his early acting career, and sort of started his theatre acting, I believe, in Lowestoft. So that is factually correct, and if I can find some details on that, I'll put it on the screen now. So yes, Sir Benjamin Britten and Michael Caine. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Right, I'm just heading on to the main drag now. This is the A12 that was, and has now become the A47 through Lowestoft. And this is the Bascule Bridge. So we're going to cross over the bridge and head right into town. But hopefully we'll get a view down the river towards the new bridge, and also some of the big ships that have to come obviously underneath this bridge to get to where they are down there. Yeah, you can just see the new bridge in the distance behind the statue of the Lowestoft fisherman there. See those 2 big towers sticking up? I think that's called Gullwing Bridge. I'll have to double check that, but I'm sure that's what it's called. A couple of big ships down there. And then that's where the ships come. You look at the size of the river and look at the size of the ships, they don't have a lot of room, do they? So they have to be, you know, very well navigated, if that's the right word. And as you walk over that bridge, you can feel the vibration from the traffic. It's quite surprising. Look at these old buildings here, look. Not looking too clever, are they? So there are parts of Lowestoft, like every other town and city in the country, that really need some attention in terms of the look and feel. But straight ahead is what was really the main shopping centre of Lowestoft, on London Street North. We'll have a little wander up there because I want to show you the Marina Theatre, which is just over here. So now we're on the north side of the harbour. More ships over here. This is where all the trawlers used to hang out. Can't see any trawlers in there at the moment, but there's also sort of further moorings and ships moored round to the left of here, which I'm not going to get to today, but if I can fly the drone over, I'll give you a view of the whole of the harbour. It's quite big, quite complex, and it's obviously very deep for ships of this sort of size to be able to come in. Pilot boat over there, so their job of course is to navigate ships in and out of the harbour. So just across the road there is Lowestoft railway station, British Railways, Lowestoft Central. That would imply there was more than one station once upon a time, but to the best of my knowledge that is the only one now. So this is sort of like the main town centre shopping area, and the first place you come to is the Joseph Conrad, which is Wetherspoons. So in there for your cheap breakfast and cheap beer, of course. Left hand side, Taco Bell's. We have been in there, but not for a long time, and I'm not convinced it was a Taco Bell. I think it used to be a McDonald's actually, once upon a time. But that kind of sums up a lot of the town centres these days, isn't it, in the UK? Shops closing left, right and centre. Everyone's shopping online or having home deliveries. So the shopping centres are really pretty quiet and not a lot happening. So on occasion, Helen and I like to come to Lowestoft to go to the theatre. There's a great little theatre here called the Marina, and this is where we come to see a lot of the sort of travelling shows, particularly the look-alike, sound-alike acts, you know, the tribute acts. And we have seen some brilliant acts at the Marina Theatre. We really have. A little bit busier now as we get towards the centre, but this used to be rammed. We couldn't walk down this street years ago. But not a great deal happening. Now you don't see many of those around these days, do you? The old wimpy bars. A flashback to the 70s. I used to love the wimpy bars. What? Bring them back. Bring back the wimpy. Used to go to a wimpy bar and have a wimpy cheeseburger, and I used to love their milkshakes. I think they were called, what they called Whipsies or something like that. Ice cream and milkshake. Absolutely brilliant. So just around this corner here is the theatre. Oh no, it's not. This is. Am I in the right place? Looks like there's been a building knocked down next to the theatre. Yeah, we are in the right place. Blimey, we haven't been here for a few years. You can never see all the way through like you can now. At night time in particular, when this whole street is lit up, illuminated, it looks really lovely. Looks like, in fact I'd say it looks like it's closed. Or maybe there's some refurbishment going on, but all the poster boards have gone down. So what's going on here? Is it closed? Oh, it's either being refurbished or it's closed, so I'm not too sure which. I'll ask this man. Oh yeah, are they closing the theatre, or is it being refurbished or something?
I think they've been having shows in here.
Oh, have they still got it open, have they?
Yeah, it's still open, yeah.
I see all the poster boards have all gone, so I wasn't sure if it was shut. They must be getting it all tidied up, are they?
I reckon a lot of work. Yeah,
are they?
Paint this after, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
They didn't go in.
Oh, right. No, I was just thinking about any shows that are on, but it's still open as a theatre, is it?
It's still open as
oh, okay then. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that, I just wasn't sure.
Okay.
Cheers.
Right.
So it is still open, but it's being refurbished. Apparently that man was saying quite a bit of money being spent on the inside. So we came to see Rumours of Fleetwood Mac. Just check him out on YouTube. Absolute brilliant. I mean, you can't see Fleetwood Mac anymore if you wanted to. But this band called Rumours of Fleetwood Mac, and obviously Rumours was the big Fleetwood Mac album, because absolutely first class. And if you go onto YouTube and have a look and search for them, I mean, the brilliant musicians, watch them and then close your eyes, because they're as good as Fleetwood Mac, if not better. The thing about the originals that are still going, you know, the big bands that are still going, I hate to say it, but they're getting a bit too old, aren't they? They can't really do it anymore. And of course all the albums that we bought back in the day is how we remember those bands. We went to see Paul McCartney, I think just before he lost it completely, from being a completely honest, massive Beatles fan. Love Paul McCartney, and we saw him I think about 2001, something like that. He did a 3-hour show in Sheffield. It was absolutely fantastic. Soon after that he couldn't sing a note anymore, in my opinion. So if you want to see these, the bands that we all grew up with, you can't. So go and see some of the tribute acts, because they're fantastic. We've seen the Illegal Eagles, we've seen Talon, which is another Eagles tribute band at the Marina. Rumours, Mark Bolan's sort of tribute, Buddy Holly, Phil Collins, and close your eyes and you're watching and listening to the real thing. So just wanted to show you that anyway. Right, I'm going to head back down the street because it's feeling like rain to me. And in the next video I'm doing a coastal tour on 2 wheels. It's all beach bound. The sun was shining. I filmed it weeks ago. Fantastic. So I hope to catch you in that one. And massive thanks to everyone that has joined recently as members. P and J Touring, Paul and Joanne, and also to Gary Hart. Thank you for joining the channel as well as a member. Really appreciate your support. And like I always say, if you have been, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. You'll know when all the vids are coming out. But until next time, bye for now.
Bye.